So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. iPhone 11 Pro Max. Should you upgrade to the iPhone 13 Pro Max? And I'm super excited to make this video because these are two of my favorite Max phones ever, and I'll tell you why. They have the underneath upgrades that really make a major difference in how you use them. The battery lives, the cameras, the processors, these were huge upgrades. I think the 11 Pro Max from the 10s Max was a much bigger upgrade than the 11 Pro Max to the 12 Pro Max, and the 13 Pro Max is a much bigger upgrade over the 12 Pro Max because of the experience of using it, you know, with all those extra things under the hood. I just like these S-like models. They're not called S models, but these are S-like models because they don't really change the overall design too much, but they do change what you actually feel, and that's cameras, processors, batteries. So beginning by talking about the price point, the iPhone 11 Pro Max did launch at around $1,100. Now can be found around $650 depending on where you look, maybe $700, $800 depending on the storage model. It's still got some good value if you're going to go ahead and sell it, trade it off, something like that. I remember paying like $1,300 for this 256 gig right here. The iPhone 13 Pro Max, I'm happy to report, does remain at the same price points as the iPhone 12 Pro Max and the 11 Pro Max, $1,100. You can go up from there, and you can get now a 1 terabyte option for this phone. But that's going to lead me on to talking about the design between both of these. You'll notice right away that both of them do have beautiful builds, beautiful stainless steel builds. However, the iPhone 13 Pro Max has a much more industrial squared off body, the boxy design, if you will, the squared edges, the iPhone 5 like design, whereas the iPhone 11 Pro Max has more of a curvy feel. Now, I do like the iPhone 11 Pro Max for how it feels in the hand, but I do think that the squared edges is more of an Apple thing. It's more of their own unique design, whereas there's a lot of Android phones that kind of have a similar feel to the 11 Pro Max, so it never quite felt quite as good, I think, as the boxy design in terms of that unique Apple look. However, it does feel very comfortable and ergonomic, and you could take a look at the camera design as well. The cameras are massively, you know, larger than the iPhone 11 Pro Max, so that is a major change in terms of the way it looks. Now on the rear, you'll see they both retain that matte textured glass, so both of them are very beautiful in that respect, and they don't really pick up fingerprints, which I do like. And I will say that the iPhone 11 Pro Max feels a little bit smaller. It is a 6.5 inch versus a 6.7. This one also feels substantially heavier because it is. This one weighs around 240 grams, and that's not to say that it's the heaviest thing in the world. You can't carry it. You can definitely handle it. The iPhone 11 Pro Max was 226, and if you thought that phone was big, wait till you get a hold of this thing. It's heavier and larger. In terms of durability though, the iPhone 11 Pro Max was pretty damn good, but the iPhone 13 Pro Max gets even better. This thing, ceramic shield front and back. I do have a screen protector just to keep it safe anyway, but it's super durable. You'll see that camera bump does stick off the body, definitely a bit more than the iPhone. Let me get that more in the light. You could see it barely sticks off the back of there, whereas this one, you know, it sticks out there, but it's really not a big deal considering everything that you do get for this phone. And the stainless steel does look a little bit thicker on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Not a ton, but a little bit thicker. I do like that midnight green though. That thing is still beautiful. Even to this day, they're still launching, you know, they're launching Apple Watch Series 7 today in green. When there's no green iPhone this year. They probably should have launched that when the green iPhone came out. But you can see right there, just a beautiful color. I gotta say, man, design-wise, I would probably go with the 13 Pro Max just because it's more unique looking. It looks more Apple. But the iPhone 11 Pro Max, still a beautiful overall phone. And a couple of other things, IP68 dust and water resistance on both. However, the iPhone 13 Pro Max can hit 6 meters for 30 minutes. This one 4, so a little bit better. Both have lightning ports and both have their speaker grills in essentially the same location right there on both of them, so no USB-C just yet. The power button does seem to be in pretty much the same location, maybe slightly lower there on the 13 Pro Max, so it might be slightly easier to reach out. And then the volume rockers you'll see right there in about the same location, but again, I think on the 13 Pro Max it's slightly lower than on the iPhone 11 Pro Max. So it's definitely a little bit easier to reach out right there. And then you also have that silent switch slightly lower, so they made it a little bit more ergonomically comfortable. Now, the area that you're going to notice the biggest change with these two phones is likely the display. Now, the average person will need to look very closely to notice it because they probably don't even care to look for this stuff, but it's the 120 hertz display. Now, take a look at this. You'll see that choppy look. Now, look over here on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. You'll see quite nice. And when I say choppy, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying laggy. I'm saying the frames stutter a little bit in between on a 60 hertz panel. This is industry standard. Any 60 hertz phone is going to look similar to this, and we've been using that for years. But the iPhone 13 Pro Max picks up with that smoothness quite a bit. Now, here's an area where I'm just like, it's whatever. It's the software. I understand that, you know, you have some new camera features, cinematic video. We'll talk about that later. However, you're getting the same software. I mean, this is why iOS people could stay on their iPhone for a while, is because they're using essentially the same thing. You know, when you buy this 13 Pro Max, right, that you're getting basically the same exact, you know, usage. It would be a little bit different if it was a total new software and you couldn't get it on the 11 Pro Max, but you can. And if I picked up this phone and then I picked up this phone, I'd be able to do the same exact things every single day, just about, when it comes to software. And the speed, the iPhone 13 Pro Max is a blazing fast monster with the A15 CPU. However, the iPhone 11 Pro Max has not skipped a beat. This thing is very quick, even with 4 gigs of RAM. Some people say they have some RAM issues. If you have those, come over here, you get 6 gigs of RAM. But performance-wise, software-wise, they don't feel that much different besides the faster display on the 13 Pro Max. If you want to see a proper speed test between these, let me know down below in the comments. Hit the thumbs up. I'll consider making a proper speed test. I gotta say, in terms of performance, the 13 Pro Max feels faster on the display. The rest of it is still very good for the 11 Pro Max as well. So doing the upgrade in this element, I'm gonna have to go towards telling you, go for the faster screen, because the CPU, you might never even push it to that limit before there's another iPhone coming out that you're looking to upgrade to. And you might be saying, well, what about the focus modes? Well, they're on both of them. You might be saying, well, what about the new maps? Let's go over here. You'll see maps, same maps on both of them. You'll be saying, well, what about the new weather application? Same weather application on both of them. I mean, it's literally the same thing to use them day to day. So let's move on to the next section I want to talk about between these, and that is the battery life. Battery life has been seriously impressive for the iPhone 13 Pro Max. The iPhone 11 Pro Max blew me away in 2019 when I used this phone, pushing almost 4,000, but now we have over 4,000 milliamp hours here for the iPhone 13 Pro Max, and that is making this phone remind me of iPad-like battery life. It's insane. You can get like 9 hours, 10 hours of screen time. I'm not even kidding with you. The 13 Pro Max is a battery beast of a phone for flagship grade phones. It beats out the S21 Ultra. It beats out other iPhones, other Samsung phones as well. This thing right here is the monster of battery life. I want to see what the Pixel 6 Pro does next to this one, because this one is really darn good here. But the 11 Pro Max is still darn good. As long as you have good maximum capacity, I would almost bet most people are going to get a great amount of battery life. Now, the iPhone 11 Pro Max and other older iPhones, when you do download iOS 15, you need to give it time to calibrate to the new software. So don't be worried if the battery is a lot worse than when you first got your iPhone. Give it some time and then it should get better. But if you're having bad battery life altogether, it likely is because your capacity is low. Go give it a check. I will tell you though, battery life, if you want the king of battery life on iPhones, you'll very much love this upgrade. Another area that is a nice update here is that the iPhone 11 Pro Max started at a weak 64 gigs. I never liked that for the price of this phone. This one now starts at 128, so double the storage there. And on the high end, it doubles the storage again. This is 256 gig, which I think is a sweet spot for a lot of people. However, the max was 512 for the 11 Pro Max. For this one, it's 1 terabyte, and there's rumors next year it's going to be 2 terabytes. How much storage do you need on your iPhone? But the reason Apple did that was because of the ProRes cameras, and because of the ProRes and the raw footage you could take with this, the 4K 60, the HDR, the cinematic video, eating up, chewing through storage. So they gave that option available for the pros that are going to use that stuff. Okay guys, so when it comes to cameras, again, we talked about how the lenses are much larger, and that would make any consumer think that it's just a better camera. You'd be right if you were assuming that. Mostly what these larger sensors do is they allow more light in. f1.8 on the main lens over here, f1.5. In addition, the ultra wide angle camera almost lets in a full stop of light better. On the iPhone 11 Pro Max, it was f2.4, over here f1.8, and what that means is the lens open up wider to let more light in the sensor, making for much better night photography. Now I'll show you right here. In good lighting though, it's going to be very hard to detect the difference. The iPhone 11 Pro Max was the first Pro Max, the Pro Series Max phone, and it brought some very good overall camera results. Let me go ahead and let me take that picture from the same angle so it's totally fair. I'll go ahead and take it right there. And again, when you have good lighting, you're going to see a little bit more detail here for the 13 Pro Max, a little bit more color it looks like, but on the whole, they're not a great deal of different. Now, when it comes to the ultra wide angle, you'll see again a very great and fun way to use the camera right there. On the iPhone 11 Pro Max, got my iPad mini box upside down. Let me go ahead and take that same photo. The actual experience of using them is quite similar once again, and I did take a lot of photo comparison samples, so I'll show you a few of those in a minute. But really where you're going to notice the iPhone 13 Pro Max is the better camera. It has these new modes where you can swipe between rich contrast, vibrant, warm, cool. I feel like they could put this in every iPhone. This is such a software-based feature. Then over here, if we go back, we can go to video, cinematic video. The ability to blur the background, and then you could change this depth of field in video after the fact, is a feature that I think not everyone's going to use, but it's still nice that it's there. It gives you the ability to make like movies on your iPhone, and it looks pretty darn amazing. It will especially look better with people subjects as well. Something you can't do on the 11 Pro Max. In addition, in video, you can't do HDR video either on the 11 Pro Max. You can do HDR video. So the video camera is taken to the next level for the iPhone 13 Pro Max, and the night photography is also taken to the next level for that phone. But the 11 Pro Max is still so good for a phone that if you're going to be doing this upgrade, my advice is that you should be really using them. Like, use these cameras to their potential. If you're not using them to your potential, I actually think you're just throwing money away, because these are still really good. And if you don't take advantage of them, you're just taking regular photos day to day, you're not really going to benefit too much from this change. You'll benefit if you're taking a lot of low light photography and you use video very religiously on your iPhone 13 Pro Max. Here is some video with the iPhone 11 Pro Max in 4K 60. You can get an idea of how it does perform. So here's some video of 4K 60 with the iPhone 13 Pro Max. You can kind of get an idea of how it does perform. Now, believe it or not, in audio, the iPhone 11 Pro Max actually was really good.
What's up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. iPhone XR versus iPhone 13 speed test. Let's begin with a boot up in 3.
Now I'm going to go ahead and put the 13 Pro Max.
Unlocking these phones, they're basically the same. You can see right there, we do have Face ID for the iPhone XR, Face ID for the iPhone 13.
Now, I'm not sure if you're noticing this, but the iPhone 11 Pro Max and the 13 Pro Max are both very good. But did you hear the 13 Pro Max? It actually got better. It sounds more crisp and somehow more loud. So Apple did improve the audio area as well, especially on the external. Now, what's the same is they both have Bluetooth 5.0. They both have, Wi-Fi 6, and they both have the same Lightning USB 2.0 connections. But what's different is 5G performance. That is a major jump if you are going to be using a lot of mobile data. The iPhone 13 Pro Max will be huge from this 4G LTE phone over here. Now, what's the same? What is the same about these phones other than what I've talked about so far? Well, they both have Face ID. The iPhone 13 Pro Max doesn't bring anything different when it comes to how you unlock this phone. The only thing I would say is that I do notice that the 120 hertz makes that swiping a little bit smoother. You'll notice it. It's something you have to see in person, but you can just tell when you unlock and then you swipe in, you can see that 120 hertz right away, but the Face ID is the same. I didn't talk much about the selfie camera because it's exactly the same as the iPhone 11 Pro Max. 12 megapixel, can shoot in the same 4K 60 video. It's essentially the same thing on both when it comes to the front facing camera, so that's not majorly different. I will say one thing, the iPhone 11 Pro Max cannot charge quite as fast as the iPhone 13 Pro Max. This thing can hit 27 watts of charging. That's insane versus the iPhone's 18 watt, the 11 Pro Max, but it's not beating Android phones that can do 60 watts like what OnePlus has on offer. So at the end of the day, the iPhone 13 Pro Max does improve on the 11 Pro Max in the areas that really matter. The camera is better, the battery is better, the screen is a bit better. All the stuff you really use is better behind the scenes. And it does have a faster processor, regardless of the fact that I said that they are not that noticeable. The screen is more noticeable. It is true, but it's still faster when you need it. When you're using iMovie, it's still going to be a little bit quicker. When you're using games, it'll be a little bit snappier. This is a refinement over the iPhone 11 Pro Max and the 12 Pro Max. This is a refined year. This is not a radical change. I think coming here doesn't feel like a radical jump from the iPhone 11 Pro Max. It feels like a nice refined version of what you had. If you love this phone and you want to stay with something like this, but you want it a little bit more modern, you'll love the update to the iPhone 13 Pro Max. If you're looking for radical changes, I would hold off one more year to see what happens with the 14 models. But other than that, it's been a tough comparison here because there's just so much to love about the 11 Pro Max, and it's still very good, that it's kind of like I have to do a lot of reaching to kind of convince you how much better this is, because it's not like 100% better. I would say it's like 30 to 40% better than the iPhone 11 Pro Max. So let me know your thoughts. If you're going to do the upgrade, let me know your thoughts down below. Thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. If you're going to pick up the 13 Pro Max and you got the 11 Pro Max, explain to the community why you decided you're doing that, or if you already did it, explain why you did that below, because it could help other users out to decide if they want to just get this, they want to upgrade this or not, or just go for this. So thank you very much for watching. Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Be sure to be well, and peace.